Hey, 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 you know what day it is? What day is it? It's Tuesday tea with D. Tuesday tea with D. Tuesday tea with D. Tuesday tea with D. It's Tuesday tea with D. Tuesday tea with D. Tuesday tea with D. Yeah, yeah, Tuesday tea with D. Tuesday tea with D. Tuesday tea with Tuesday tea with Tuesday tea with D. Hey, boo. Hey, it's your girl, Detra Trueheart, your life purpose generator, purpose provoker, your personal life coach, here with another weekly dose and serving of tea. What kind of tea? Tuesday tea with D. I am excited about today's conversation, and I have something new that I want to share with you. And so, before we even get to any of that, y'all know we're going to talk about this tea, right? Today is a ginger theme. I am drinking a green tea with ginger and probiotics, as well as the honey is a ginger honey, and I got my lemon in it. So, oh yeah, the ginger is gingering and it's good. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we're gonna be sipping on that through this whole time, right? So, how have you been? What have you been up to? I have been a little scarce lately. I ain't gonna lie. I have been really in heavy contemplation around what I really want Tuesday Tea with D to look like. And there have been some conversations around a podcast. I've been in conversation with God specifically around what He really wants me to share. And, granted, what I've been sharing has been good and I've been talking to God about it, but I really want to make sure that this is something that I really should be doing and need to be doing for my tribe, right? And so at any rate, that's that, right? And so I've been kind of like in and out, simply just because I've been in contemplation and I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't want to force anything that feels forced, right? I want to make sure that I'm in alignment. So once I know, you'll know. But in the meantime, we're going to be recording and you'll get this tea and then I'll give you updates on all that kind of stuff. But the new thing that I want to share with you is this. Look at that. So this is my, I would say, official first ministry assignment that God has given me to do locally, I would say. And it's called Sit, Soak, and Seek, where you can sit at his feet, soak in his presence, and seek his face. You can get details at trueheartspeaks.mykajabi.com/SSS for Sit, Soak, and Seek. It is a prayer and worship experience. It is happening Friday, February 23rd at 6:30 p.m. And it is going to be at my church, Impacting Love Global Ministries. And so if you go to the website that I have listed below, all of the details will be there. It's free. I do ask people to register just so I know how many people are coming. And this is, like I said, my first really my only local ministry assignment. Any ministry assignments that I've done have been, I've been invited out. And so I'm really excited about this. And this is coming on the cusp of not the cusp, but on the tail, right, of 21 days of prayer. We've just come out of 21 days of, and it's really almost been a month, right, since we have done 21 days of prayer. And so the crazy part is Sit, Soak, and Seek is technically like 30 days from 21 days of prayer. And I just thought about that, right? And so we will have been done on like January 21st and then February 21st. And then 2 days later, we're doing Sit, Soak, and Seek. So God is extremely intentional. There have been some instructions that He has given me to share for those who come. And so I'm really excited about that. But this really is an opportunity for you to come. It is personal and intimate worship in a corporate space. And so I want you to bring your prayer shawls. I want you to bring your blankets. I want you to bring your Bibles. I want you to bring your journals. I want you to position yourself for the manifestation of God to show up, but for God to speak to you and for you to cry out to Him and you to be in His presence. He is seeking those who are worship Him and who will worship Him in spirit and in truth. And if you are one of those, then I want to invite you to come, right? Even if you got to fly in just for that night and fly back out, honey, listen, do what you got to do. I don't know that we are going to be doing a virtual experience for this. And so right now it is strictly in person, which means that you just need to get your body in there. And I feel like this is not going to be the first and the only, right? I feel like this is going to be the first, and there might be one or two, maybe three, I don't know, to come. So I'm super excited about Sit, Soak, and Seek. I'm super excited about what God, is doing in the kingdom and what he's doing with me, what he's doing with my community, what he's doing with you. And so I'm excited. That would be officially, depending upon at the time of you watching this. Today is February 13th. Happy Valentine's Day to all the gals out there. Single, married, widow, divorced, all the things, everything in between. Happy Valentine's Day to all the gals, right? Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. I pray that you do something special for yourself tomorrow and this week, and child, listen, every other week after that. Man, woman, child, all the things, right? Do something special for yourself. Make sure that you make yourself feel special. Don't always wait for others to make you feel special. So the other thing that I want to share is, you all know, we are in enrollment time for the Inner Circle, which is my monthly mentorship community of faith, where we are pushing, provoking, and propelling overwhelmed and overthinking Christian women, helping them get out of their own way and get equipped so they can take their next best step in life, business, and ministry. It's $470 for the year, $47 for the month. And the great thing about that is you can join for just $7. We actually have a trial that is going on right now where you can join for $7 for 7 days. And so if you are, like ready to jump in with the live coaching, not coaching, live training, the live accountability calls that we do, we call them co-working sessions. And so we meet live twice a month, and then we have a community. I do pop-up sessions. And so there are a couple other things that I want to be doing in the Inner Circle this year, but I love to have you a part of the community. And if you are watching this today, February 13th, 2024, we are actually, I want you literally have time to still join us so that you can join us tonight for tonight's live teaching, right? And it's going to be good. And so every month, God gives me a word or a message to share with the women. Sometimes I get it immediately. Sometimes I don't get it until like the weekend of, child, because that's just how God works with me. But I want you to make sure that you are joining me for the Inner Circle. This is the space that high capacity women come, and where they don't technically have to wear all of the roles and the hats that they wear, and just be, right? And you can be poured into so that you can go out and be and pour back into others, and you can be equipped to, step into your space and your role that God is calling you to step into in the kingdom and in your communities. And so it's all good stuff. So you want to go to iSpeaklife.innercircle.com, iSpeaklife.innercircle.com, in order to be a part of the Inner Circle. All right. So of course, I'm going to take a sip of this tea. And the one thing I will say, I didn't plan to say this, is if there are topics around getting out of your own way, showing up fully for yourself in the same way that you show up for others, kingdom building, kingdom development, kingdom leadership, anything, right, that you're like, man, I'd love for you to do a talk on that for Tuesday Tea with D. Reply in the comments or DM me on Facebook or Instagram and just say, hey, here's a thought that I had, and an idea for Tuesday Tea with D. I'd love for you to talk more about this. I'd love for you to share if there's a question, and I could maybe do a Q&A, and I can read the question and then answer the question. And so I'd love to be able to take feedback from you on what it is that you would like to hear. Obviously, from your likes and your comments and your shares, I know that you're watching and I know that you're enjoying it. But if there's something that maybe I'm not sharing, or you'd like me to go more in depth, maybe do a part 2 or 3, I can do that as well. Okay. All right. So let's have conversation about today's topic: maintenance costs. Maintenance costs. I'm going to say maintenance works, but maintenance costs. And I was actually, I think it was last week, I went to go and get a mani-pedi, and I was sitting there, and I was thinking about, like what it costs to maintain your mental health, your spiritual health, what it costs to maintain, just like even like you get your eyebrows done, or if you get waxing, or if you go and get haircuts and get your beard trimmed, or excuse me, all of those different things, right? Man, woman, depending upon who's watching, right? And so I started really to think about the fact that, outside of like the material things of, if you get your eyebrows done every 2 weeks or once a month, or you get your mani pedi like every week, like some people go every week, some people go every 2 weeks, some people go once a month. And the maintenance, right, to maintain it, it costs, right? And so specifically, if you got to get a fill, if you're getting acrylic, if you're getting gel, now they have the new dip thingy. They have all kinds of stuff, child. I just get the basic, like, because I do a lot of stuff with my hands. And so I don't like the way the gel feels under my nails. The last time I had it, my nails felt weak. So I don't do it. So at any rate, I was thinking about this and I started to just think about like, what would it cost to maintain, right, your purpose, right, your faith? What does it cost to maintain like your health? What does it cost, like the maintenance cost, right? Or even just what does it cost for you to maintain what you started, right? You might sign up for something, but then you've got to maintain it. And I think a lot of times we don't count, right, the maintenance cost, right? Even the Bible talks about counting the cost, right? We count the cost, but do we count the cost? It's like we count the cost to build it, but do we count the cost to steward it and maintain it? Do we count the cost to take care of it? Do we count the cost to make sure that not only, because some things, there is no start and stop, it's an ongoing recurring thing, right? So like my inner circle, right there, it's as long as you want to be a part of it. Even my incubator, as long as you want to be a part of it and you pay the fee, there's a fee, right? It's an ongoing fee, right? Even if it's annual, you pay the annual fee, and then when your anniversary rolls around, you pay it again. And so I want to kind of bring this conversation to you because even just to maintain a business or to maintain a marriage or a relationship, what are the costs, right? Maybe not financial, but the cost of that. I don't think that we count the cost, right? And so I want you to think about again with your spiritual health, right? Or just your faith. And what does it cost to maintain it, right? To keep it going, to steward it. There's prayer, there's fasting, there's worship, there's the assembling of ourselves together, there's, cultivating and developing and maintaining the relationship that we have with our Heavenly Father. Like what does it cost, right? There might be the sowing of financial seeds, right? Because we believe in sowing and reaping, right? Not just financially, but just in general, like giving, right? Giving it shall be given, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men give unto your bosoms. And so think about like the different things that you need to make an investment in, and then also think about what it costs to maintain it, right? Think about the skills that you've learned and then what it looks like for you to maintain the skill, right? And so there's the saying, like, if you don't use it, you lose it. And so if you don't maintain a thing, if you are not consistent with the thing, if you are not constant with the thing, then you lose it, and then you have to some extent you have to start all over because you didn't maintain what you started, right? It's even like with a house, how you maintain, there is a maintenance cost to that, right? To maintain what you have. And here's the thing, I think even when we don't maintain a thing in the way that we should, the cost is higher than if we're consistent across the board. Let me say that again. If we don't maintain it consistently, there is a greater cost across the board, right? And so if you don't get for your car, if you don't get your oil changes every 3 to 6 months, right? Some of them say like you can stretch it out because if you're not driving your car that much, you might not need an oil change every 3 months or every 3,000 miles. And so let's just say if you're not let's just use every 3 miles, every 3,000 miles. If you're not getting your oil change every 3,000 miles, or you're not getting it at all, the cost to fix it versus the cost to maintain it is totally going to be greater. If you don't, take care of your brakes, or if you don't make sure that the engine fuel or the filter or your windshield wipers, like for example, this is the first time in the history of my cars that my windshield wiper stopped working. The motor just went. I had never experienced that ever. And let me just tell you, honey, that when your windshield wipers go, and you trying to like drive in the rain because I had to wait for the appointment to get my car fixed, honey. And so luckily I have great parents who let me borrow one of their cars so I could drive and not have to worry about driving with broken windshield wipers. But like, what happens if I just decide not to get my windshield wipers fixed, to not maintain that, right? To not get that taken care of? What happens? Or even to replace them, right? And so let's not even talk about the motor, but let's just talk about the blades, right? And so at some point they get dull, and so they're not cleaning the way that they need to clean. Like, what happens? And so there are certain areas in your life, your health, your finances, your faith, right? Your mindset, your skill sets. Like, what skill sets have you allowed to suppress, be suppressed, or have been laid dormant, and you have not tapped into those, right? And so you've not maintained it, right? And so, like, I think of people who have learned languages but who have not spoken them fluently or consistently, or who have maintained it, right? The maintenance cost really is your time, your energy, right? It could be money, right? And so you want to look at those, but you also want to look at this idea around, well, what does it cost me if I don't maintain it? What does it cost me if I don't take care of it? What does it cost me if I don't steward it? What does it it's going to be more than what it costs to maintain it. And so sometimes you have to shift your mindset around thinking like, man, like every time I turn around, because there's a shift that has to happen in how you see what you're investing in, and it's got to be worth you investing in it, as opposed to, well, dang, I don't put all this money. Now, mind you, let me pause here. If it's something that you need to stop investing in, then do that. But sometimes it's a matter of you investing in things, but you're not really taking care of it. You're not stewarding it. Like recently, God had begun to talk to me about courses that I had been purchasing, but I had not been going back and reviewing the content or anything. And I was just literally like, I had access to knowledge, but wasn't accessing the knowledge. And so it was like, okay, you pay for it, but in order for you to really be able to learn the skill and master the skill, right, you got to invest time, right? You got to be able to, in order to get good at a thing, you got to stay at it, right? You have to maintain it, right? You have to be consistent at it. And so a lot of us are not doing that. We're not doing that. And so I wanted to bring this to you because we are already midway through February of 2024, depending upon when you are watching this recording. At the time of this recording, it is February 13th, 2024. And so don't get caught up in signing up for stuff and starting things only to think that you don't have to do anything to finish it, when there is a season of maintenance. Specifically, is that if it's something that's ongoing that you have to invest in. You have to be vested in the maintenance of it, not just being a starter, right? Don't just start it, but you got to go through the process. This is something that, again, God has been dealing with me on as well. So I'm not just coming to you, child, because I have a message for you, but it resonated and I had to walk through it as well. I'm still walking through it because I feel like there are some things that I've started and I haven't done a good job of maintaining it. And I want to be a good steward of everything that God gives me. How about you? Right? How are you maintaining? How are you taking care of what you have? The car that you have, the home that you have, the job that you have, the money that you have, the husband you have, the wife that you have, the children you have, right? The business you have, the friendships. How are you stewarding that? What's the maintenance cost behind it? I've said this and I'm going to continue to say it. And really, for me, it is a level of accountability that this is the year that I really want to spend more time with my friends. I feel like I have not maintained those relationships. And some of them will say, like, we don't think that you've been lacking in any area. But I feel like I want to spend more time with my friends. I want to make time for my girlfriends more often, right? Even if it is once a month, right? So I'm going to something tonight, which is a Galentine's event hosted by my first lady. And so even just doing fun things, you know what I mean? Last month I did a dinner with some of the ladies that I'm going to be doing my girls trip with and it's not my girls trip, but I call it my girls trip because we're going on a girls trip together, but in October. And so like different things. And so even, making time, one-on-one time for my special people. And so That's important to me. And so I'm going to keep saying it, because for me, in order to maintain it, right, and in order to make sure I'm walking it out, it's got to be before me, right? And so y'all will hear me talk about it probably all year long, because I want to make sure that I'm making time for the people who make time for me, you know? All right. So I think I'm done with this conversation. I really just want you to take some time to think about how you are maintaining what you have, right? How you are cultivating and stewarding what you have. There is a startup cost, there is a closeout cost, but there also is a maintenance cost. And what is it going to cost you in time, money, energy, right? What is it going to cost you? And only you can answer that question, but I want to bring it to you because sometimes we forget that right smack dab in the middle is an opportunity for us to be able to be consistent in a thing. And sometimes, there will be highs and lows, but overall, how can you be consistent and maintain, right? So with your car, and it's funny because this is that year that I'm being accountable for a lot of different things. I already, when I got my oil change this year, I already put in my calendar what the 30-day, not the 30-day, but the 3-month deadline was in my phone, so that I can get a 1 week reminder. And really just to kind of make sure I'm at that mark, right? Because if I'm not at 3,000 miles and I haven't really driven a lot, I may not go right then and there, but I'm consistent on documenting how I'm maintaining the things that I've been given to steward. And so I would challenge you to do that. Start documenting. And it may not be everything, child, because we got a whole bunch of stuff there, but like the things that might be important to you that help you be a little bit more aware. Like, in what ways can you document the things that you're supposed to be maintaining and how you're maintaining them? Is it a to-do list? Is it a checklist? Is it, putting maybe a reminder in your phone on the calendar that like every month I'm going to get a massage, every month I'm going to get my nails done, every week I'm getting that? Like, what does that look like for you? And I'd love for you to share that with me here down in the comments or even on social media. And just let me know, like, what things you need to be maintaining a little bit better. Like, you've gotten off to a good start, but you got slack in maintaining and stewarding it, and you need to get back on track, because there is a cost, right? And I think we forget about that, right? Have you counted the whole total cost of what it takes for you to get out of your own way and show up for yourself in the same way that you show up for others, right? What does it cost for you to show up for others? What's the maintenance cost for that? Is it books? Is it knowledge? Right? Is it rest time? Is it vacations? Is it meetings? Is it, leading people? Like, what's the maintenance of the relationships and the things that you're doing to show up for people? Is it gas because you're driving here and there and to and fro? I want you to think about that, because I think also you'll start to realize, man, like, I'm doing a whole lot and I'm not necessarily taking time to really maintain it in the way that I should. So I want you to do that. So if this was good, if this was helpful for you, if this, spoke to you, as TD Jake says, if it wasn't for you today, put it in your pocket, because there will come a time where you'll remember this word and you'll have to pull it back out, and you'll be remembering the maintenance cost, right? What is it costing me, not just to start it and to finish it, but to maintain it? Right. So make sure you like this video. Make sure you comment below. Let me know, what maintenance costs that you need to revisit, and that you're going to start working towards. Also, make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel, right, for Tuesday Tea with D, and any other videos that I've done. And so just so you know, 21 Days of Prayer, if you do not know about 21 Days of Prayer, we hosted 21 Days of Prayer at the beginning of the year from January 1st to the 21st. The replays are here on the YouTube channel, and you just can look for the playlist 21 Days of Prayer 2024. I promise you, your whole life will be blessed if you just take one at a time, right? Start at day 1, go all the way through to day 21. Feel free to comment. I do see your comments. I do like the comments. Even though they're coming in after the fact, I go back and watch them. I actually have told myself I need to go back and start over and watch them all over again and take some new notes, because now I'll be watching not just as the host, but really as, somebody who is participating So not only to subscribe, but check out the other Tuesday Tea with D's. I actually have a playlist of Tuesday Tea with D's that you can also check out if you've missed any of them. So make sure you go and check those out as well. And then the last thing I love for you to do is share this with 5 people, right? I always ask for you to share it with 5 people so that they can get this tea and they can get whatever it is that they need, this weekly dose, to get out of their own way and stop settling so that they can show for themselves in the same way that they show for others, right? And so with that being said, make sure that you get the details and the information. I will put this up here really quickly so you can see it. Go and get the details for Sit, Soak, and Seek. You can go to trueheartspeaks.mykajabi.com/SSS. I will make sure that this link is also down in the description in the YouTube video. And also, if you have an interest, and not really an interest, I'm looking forward to having you join me in the inner circle. It's $47 a month or $470 for the year, and you get a chance to do a 7-day trial for $7. And so I'd love for you to join us today, right? So you can get a chance to join us for this month's training. And then also, so you can take a look around and see what we have going on. I have trainings that go all the way back to June 2020. And each one is word focused. And so depending upon where you are and what your situation is and what your focus is, you can kind of go specifically to that word. So with that being said, thank you for joining me this week. Thank you for your patience as I'm navigating this new space that God has me in. And I will see you next time on Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D.